All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Crown Council Live. Stuart Anderson here, joined by Spencer Chipping. Hey, Spence.
Hey, everybody. Good
What's going
morning.
on? Morning. Hey, we're excited to join you live. This is our live broadcast we do every week. This is our opportunity to connect with the Crown Council community, our resource partners, our TOPS coaches, and everything that we see happening inside Crown Council week to week. So we're grateful that you would join us. Grateful that we could share a few of the great stories that we're seeing out there in Crown Council and specifically connect with some of our members. It is a big group, Chip, and we always say that you never practice alone. That's kind of the feeling we hope to portray here on Crown Council Live, is that you're never practicing alone. There's a lot of great resources and people inside this community that are willing to help and share their very best. So welcome to Crown Council Live. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, before we move on to our guests, me and Spence thought it would be a good idea to share a few of the tools and resources available to you inside the community. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. I hopefully share the right one. I'm always nervous about that now. Okay, you see crowncouncil.com?
Perfect.
Okay, so everybody in Crown Council has this. This is crowncouncil.com. You'll go to my directory after you're logged in, and I'm going to scroll down to a part inside your directory that you'll see. It's called our Resource Partner Hub. And inside this Resource Partner Hub, Spence, do you want to just talk about real quick,
Yeah.
one, what is a resource partner, and two, what can they do here inside this little hub, this directory?
Yeah. Fantastic, Stu. So, um, for everybody listening, a resource partner is a business inside the dental industry that we have onboarded, we have vetted, we have taken in as a family of the Crown Council membership. And they are the best at what they do within their respective industry, within the dental industry. And you can count on that based on our vetting process to save you the time when you are out there looking for who should I use for HR? Who should I use for data technology, financial services, marketing? How what about teeth whitening, et cetera? We have them listed here under the resource partner tab. Now, let's say you've heard of one, but you don't know where to find them. That's what Stu is scrolling over. Those are the subheadings, and you can click on any of those subheadings, and then you can scroll through. Now, check out this new one, Diamond Dental Lab. Go ahead and click on there, and you are interested in really getting to know them. So what we have prepared is a little video from most that have provided them. You can learn about them, learn about their services, and from there, it also has a point of contact as well.
Yeah. And the beauty of one of the great things about Crown Council Resource Partners is that each of them have entered into an agreement to provide more to Crown Council members from the aspect of, how are you going to treat the members of this group different? Customer service, opportunities for discounts, personal connection with somebody in the company. So right here, you're going to call Robert Whitman, who has agreed to be the key contact for Forward Science. I mean, this is kind of how the agreements that we've worked out with each of these companies is to provide more to Crown Council members when it comes to customer service and availability. Is that right, Spence?
Correct. That is exactly right. Majority of them will also have a specific even landing page that would allow our members to go click on and be like, oh, when I use my social practice, being a Crown Council member, I get the following. And not only that, but Stu, I think that we have all had that experience where you're dealing with a company and you don't have someone to reach out to ask questions or to help you. In this process, it allows for you to reach out to someone directly that is like, I got you. I know you. Hey, Stu, a call out to some of them that have that little earmark of the Smiles for Life logo on
Yeah,
there.
let's do it. Yeah, do it.
Those are businesses within the Crown Council that when our members are utilizing these businesses' services, a percentage of that business is going into Smiles for Life. And at the annual event recently in January, we had about 10 resource partners standing on stage that had provided some pretty substantial donations through their business. Very cool.
Very cool. And Trey's here. We had Jim on a couple shows ago. They're one of the top donators this year to the Smiles for Life Whitening Foundation, which is awesome because Trey's is clear aligners. So this is an incredible opportunity to interact with some of these resource partners who are also doing good as they work with us. So I agree, really fun to see that little tab on more and more of these resource partners.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spence, maybe we could talk about for 1 minute. I mean, a long time ago when resource partners would come on to Crown Counsel, there was a very specific way that we would bring them on. And that was usually a doctor, a team member, someone inside Crown Counsel's community said, I have done a lot of work with eAssist, incredible company. The rest of the Crown Counsel membership needs to know about them. Let me introduce you. Is that kind of the same process that works here?
Yeah, I would say that many of the resource partners come on board through two channels. We all know that the Crown Counsel email network is alive and well, and sometimes we feel your pain when we see someone searching for a solution.
Nice.
And we find a solution sometimes, and sometimes someone has already found that solution as a Crown Counsel member, and they reach out to us and they say, hey, it would be really good if you guys were to pick up Sunbit. Here's Sunbit here. And we do the vetting process, onboard them, and welcome them into the family. And that is how we naturally, organically, I should say, onboard new resource partners. We in the office are not out beating the streets for businesses to bring into here.
Right.
They are really based on demand from you. And when there is a need, we find a solution.
Ooh, I like that. That's awesome. Very good. Okay, so 2 ways to interact here. One, you're going to call Crown Counsel office or chat with us on the chat bubble to find out if there's a resource partner in the arena that you're looking for, or reach out directly to any of these partners. When I started working at Crown Counsel years ago, this has always been one of the greatest benefits provided to the Crown Counsel community is this partnership. We used to call them strategic partners. Now they're resource partners. It has always been part of Crown Counsel as we are connecting you with some of the very best and offering a bit of a guarantee that these are Crown Counsel approved businesses that we stand behind, have vetted, and are working with. So really cool. Very good.
Very cool.
All right. I am going to switch gears here, Spence, and we are going to talk for just a second about mastermind groups and the opportunity that, so I guess I'll introduce this by saying, over the last year, we've done a lot of interviews with some of the best Crown Counsel members. And whenever we ask for advice, whenever we say, hey, what sort of things do the young doctors of Crown Counsel need to know about? Without fail, this is a statistic I'm just going to make up. 90% of them say, find a mastermind group, find a group of peers that you can meet with regularly to share ideas, to be accountable to learn from. That is without a doubt the biggest piece of advice that members of the Crown Counsel community share. Spence, maybe you can talk for 1 minute about how that looks. We have 12, I think 14 organized and sponsored mastermind groups by the Crown Counsel. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, let's do. This is the glue, everybody, that keeps the members together. It is a safe place where you are able to go and talk, share best practices. Steve Anderson has always referred to your pearls that you would not work without. This is where You learn and grow together. You meet once a month. And let me kind of go on about that a little bit. When you are in a mastermind group within the Crown Council, you have been provided, you have a tools. You just saw that resource partner page. So oftentimes your moderator, who is a Crown Council moderator, sometimes the content is derived from your group, which the demand happens to be something clinical, something that's really tough going on in the industry right now. You can imagine how strong this was during COVID, for example, of being able to be together. But oftentimes the moderator would like a guest speaker. They are able to pull from our resource partners. They're able to pull from our TOPS team. And now let me go even deeper than that, Stu. Some of you out there are wondering, is there a mastermind group for me? Well, we have created mastermind groups in a way that it accommodates the type of practice you work for. We have all female mastermind groups. We have new young dentist mastermind groups. We have those that are on the back nine preparing to retire. And guess what? We have a new mastermind group that is called an emeritus mastermind group. What do you do post exit? And how will you still continue to be involved in the Crown Council post exit? Our emeritus group is led by Dr. Jamie Slett, who is just awesome. And now some of you are thinking, what about for those in my office that are not doctors? Is there a mastermind group for hygiene? Yes. How about for office management? Also. So our moderators really are in tune with where they are in their place of practice in their career, right? And therefore they fit really well as the moderator over many of those specific groups. But we know that there are more of you looking for not only to be a moderator, throw your hat in the ring for that, but also to join an existing group.
Very cool. I mean, if you are looking to be in a mastermind group, if you would like to moderate a mastermind group, all of those opportunities can be set up here. We would love to be part of that process. So reach out on crowncouncil.com or email me or Spencer directly, Stewart@crowncouncil.com, Spencer@crowncouncil.com, and we will connect you with a mastermind group immediately to make sure that you're connected there. One of the best part about working with the community and with this group. So cool.
Yeah.
All right. It's very good. So in the meantime, while we're kind of waiting around, we've got Mary Beth from TOPS who's going to be joining us. But before she joins us, we've got a new resource partner that we're going to bring in. Maybe Spence, you can introduce Kath. You can introduce Kathy, and I don't want to say the name until she introduces it, but maybe you can say the name. But
absolutely.
Kathy's joining us for the first time on the Crown Council Live. We're grateful to have her on. Go ahead, Spence, if you want to introduce her.
Yeah. We are so thrilled to introduce Kathy from WellPlace. WellPlace provides a smarter, a better way for purchasing clinical supplies. And this is an area within our resource partner area that we don't have. And now, as Stu and I were just talking and giving the introduction to how resource partners benefit the Crown Council, WellPlace has really filled that space. And Kathy joined us kicking things off at the annual event recently in January. And we are just really excited to have Kathy on board with us.
Hey,
Kathy, welcome.
Welcome. Thanks for having me. I'm so delighted to be here. It feels a little bit like a homecoming, as I was a Crown Council member for many years myself. So thank you, and honor to be here.
That's cool. Through a dental practice, Kathy, you were part of a group?
Yes, absolutely that. And so Crown Council is near and dear to my heart and has been for many, many years.
Which practice were you part of?
This was Dr. Steve Titensor out of Flower Mound, Texas. I was with him. I think I practiced with him for about 13 years.
We know him. He's pretty famous.
Yeah, he's a pretty good guy. He's pretty all right.
Awesome. Kathy, every time we introduce you to the resource partners or to the new membership of the Crown Council, and as we are looking at your background there, we see the logo Well Place. I can say it by looking at it, but everyone wants to know what the spelling of the A and the E are
Yep.
inside of Well Place.
Yeah. I get that question a lot. Like, how do you say it? Well place, well please, but it is well place. And it's interesting you ask. We can do a little bit of brand spotlight right out of the gates. I'm great with that. Yeah, the A and the E is really tied together with what we call a ligature. And so this was really intentional as you think about a ligature in surgery. Ligature in surgery is really meant to take two broken parts and bring it into really a place of healing. And as we've met with hundreds of doctors, hundreds of practices to really build the research and building our platform, the one thing that we hear time and time again is that the way we purchase supplies in dental it's broken, it's antiquated, it's fragmented. And so taking all that research and learnings that we've heard from our clients and customers is to be able to take that mindset of how we purchase supplies today to be able to provide centralized sourcing, centralized ordering, centralized billing, and bringing it all together in a centralized place, all in one Well Place. So that's really like a little bit of one-on-one background on our brand and a little bit of recognition there.
Very cool. Kathy, one of the neat things about Resource Partners is we hope that they provide a solution. We try to guide our resource partners away from your selling products to the Crown Council, which we know obviously that is a thing, but the solution that you bring with your background in dentistry, you bring energy, you bring passion to dentistry. Maybe talk a bit about your expertise, your background inside dentistry, and why Well Place is where you are now, why you fit here.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, I love that question too. And I think obviously if I talk about Well Place, you're gonna see passion, you're gonna see excitement that comes from me. I think everybody does notice that. And it is, I think, if I could probably maybe sum it up on why I think that is, I think I just have a significant amount of empathy for what happens at the practice level because I was a practicing hygienist for 20 plus years. Beyond that, I ran operations for a larger DSO for several years. And so I have this like innate desire for practices to thrive. And, working with different practices over the years, at the end of the day, I think the only thing we all really want to do is provide our patients with a great service. And we want to give them the care that they deserve. And we want to be able to take our skills and our knowledge and provide really positive outcomes for our patients. That I know. But I've often thought and felt that like optimizing your practice, it shouldn't be a drag. And I think sometimes it is. At the end of the day, it sometimes is. And so with Well Place, I think about I guess I really have this excitement around being a technology partner with our practices to be able to leverage technology to source best pricing on dental supplies, but not just that, but being like the right technology partner that makes it easy for practices to be able to do what you do best, and that's serve the practices and the patients. But, really, I think I have this privilege of working with so many offices day after day. I get to hear from them. I get to meet with them. And in the procurement space specifically, I've found just like a few common denominators that I see that really successful practitioners are doing when it comes to, sourcing their supplies. A couple of those things that I see like time and time again is, these practices that are having success here, they are incorporating software to really help them eliminate human error. They are consolidating their workflow. They're consolidating their spend. They're trusting experts to really help them source supplies, help them save dollars or free up team members' time to be able to do that. But I think the base too is really coming down to data. They're using data to support their efforts. Really the proof is in the numbers. So incorporating software, trusting experts, consolidating workflows and spend, and really using that data to show it all coming together.
Nice. Very cool.
That's so cool, Kathy. Let's stay on the technology piece there for a minute. Because having technology partners today in today's dental industry is pretty crucial. I mean, I would even say it's critical to have someone that you can trust inside of an evolving tech. We're not quite calling dental tech space, but there is a lot of up and coming, and it's moving fast technology inside of dentistry. And so, Kathy, help us to share with our doctors and our members out there listening how WellPlace can be a real advocate in that space specifically.
Yeah, I think great question. I think we can probably like intuitively ask ourselves some questions, like really even the doctors that are here on this call today. Like, how many of you really want to feel like you want to do better with your supply spend? Maybe you want to do better with sourcing your workflow. Maybe you really do want to see immediate profits coming back to your practice, or, what would you actually even do with those dollars if you could further advantage your practice? Would you, if it's $6,000 a year or $10,000 a year or whatever that number is to your practice, how would you apply those dollars? Would you apply them to buy equipment or pay off debt, or, put it into marketing to drive more patients? But I think that when I think about a partnership too, I think this is where my role, and to maybe answer your previous question, is where I get fired up and excited, is being able to make impacts, to support our doctors' work, to optimize and profit practices, but to really advocate for the practices as well. And that's at the end of the day where I feel a lot of excitement. But I don't think it has to be a burden or a headache to run your dream practice. The way I see it as a partner is I see this really as a privilege. To me, it's not an opportunity. It's not a sale, but truly a privilege, Stuart and Spencer, to be able to work as a resource partner, technology partner.
Mhm.
I think that goes both sides of it. When you think about a partner, it's like, how do we work with you and how do you work with us? So on our side of it, one of the things that we value and hang our hats on is being able to put the purchasing power back into the doctor's hands again. And that's something that we will go to town on all day. And we want to have that trust to see that through. So that's our side of the partnership. But the other side comes into, how do you work with us? And I think just to give an example of this on how our doctors can be, that partner back, is last week. This was a big, exciting event for us at WellPlace to be able to launch version 2 of our products. So just now, as we bring on a new wave of doctors and new cohort of doctors, essentially we trust that Crown Council doctors will come into our platform with the hopes that you love us, of course, and you never want to leave us, but more importantly, that the Crown Council doctors will give us feedback so that in 3 months or 6 months from now, when we launch our next phase of our product, we're going to take that usage and feedback of the platform for phase 3. It's super critical to us so that we can continue to advantage not just your practice, but really to continue to advantage the entire industry. So when I think about partner, you just asked me a loaded question, but partner to WellPlace is really a real term. It's we advocate for you, we advantage you, and your feedback as a partner back continues to allow us to iterate and really improve, right? So it's in doing so, we continue to add features and benefits that serve the practices and our doctors' needs.
Very cool.
That's great.
Kathy, a lot of opportunities for Crown Council offices to partner with buying groups. I mean, that's just like a thing. You're not like standing alone in this industry. So maybe share honestly what sets you apart from the other groups.
It's interesting, Stuart. That's the question that everybody asks, right? What sets WellPlace apart?
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is exactly what sets us apart, but I mean, if you look at the logo in my background, it says, "Here's trust," right? So when I think about trust is super important to us. Now, a lot of organizations build their foundations upon trust. I don't know if that's actually completely unique, but it's something that we are certainly proud of. And really the setting apart is the building the trust that with you, that we're alleviating pain points for you, right? We're shopping for you on your behalf, so you don't have to. We're bringing trust that we're bringing profits back to your practice. Typically today we average 20% savings for our practice. And that looks different for everybody, but even just a 3-unit DSO that I was working with in 6 months, we saved them $35,000. That's bringing that trust and that profit back. And we do this at a place of leveraging your historic buying behavior to inform your baseline, really understanding your practice habits out of the gates. That sets us apart. And doing the work ahead of time brings us much more than like an educated guess that that we are really providing the service back to you. but we're taking that real data to leverage the historic baseline to really drive those profits back to you. And building trust that we're going to take your team members' time, make it less worry and less time for them to have to manage that process.
Yeah. Kathy, I love that you know, as part of a Crown Council practice years ago, you do understand this community. You understand kind of the standards of what we're trying to accomplish. And for me, as part of the Crown Council team, that trust, having have you say that rather than just willy-nilly somebody else, it's really fun that it's fun that it's you that we can trust, that you know what's going on.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I love the word privilege. I've used it a couple times, but a privilege to again, to be able to serve the Crown Council doctors, and already starting to serve. We have our first wave of cohorts of Crown Council doctors coming onto our platform, even as of next week already. So excited
Yeah.
to start to onboard them and got them rolling. So this is exciting.
Cool.
Yeah. So awesome to put some of the profits back into their practices. And that is, I mean, it's one thing that, as we've talked about resource partners today, that they can be a resource of education, but also when we're talking about financially putting profits back into the practice, such a big add from some of our resource partners. And Kathy, like Stu said, just awesome. Kathy, anything else that you'd like to add? In addition to that, we've been starting to talk a little bit about Smiles for Life. Can we already talk slightly about that or not quite? Not yet.
No, actually, you'll get me all kinds of excited about that too. Yeah, just to highlight that just a moment. One of the things that is super valuable to us, super important to us as a company, is to be able to, we consider ourselves social impact. So we wanted to find a nonprofit partner that we could provide a percentage of our revenue back to be able to support. In this, there was a requirement they had to be, I don't know, at least, providing access to care to underserved populations. Of course, you guys hit that on the head. But to tell you the truth, we actually went through a very significant vetting process to find our nonprofit partner. And we narrowed it down, and excited to be able to announce that we narrowed it down to two that are just completely incredible. And we decided to pick you both. But Smiles for Life is definitely definitely one of our nonprofit partners, and we are excited to be able to take our proceeds and donate it back. And then also Crown Council members, an additional donation back for Crown Council members as well.
Yeah, Stu, I need to make mention that earlier in the show, we talked about us vetting out the resource partners, whether they can come on board. I got the tables turned on me and was in the vetting process of Well Place on whether or not Smiles for Life would be a fit for them.
That's good.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah, we did our due diligence, and it went through quite an ordeal process, but honestly, it wasn't just even my excitement around it. Our whole team felt excited about it, that this was the right partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kathy, what's the call to action here as Crown Council members want to engage with you?
Ooh, I like that too. Really to probably wrap this up, Stu, Spencer really put a bow on this. Truth be told, we can't wait to hear from you. So after just talking and collaborating with, like I said, hundreds of offices, the one thing that we feel confident and certain in is that Well Place is really bringing something of value to the industry. And so I say, if you want to learn more, reach out to me, Kathy at wellplace.com, or you can go to wellplace.com and request a meeting with me there, or book a meeting with me there. But again, Well Place, PLAECE.com. Think of the ligature, consolidated sourcing, centralized ordering, centralized billing, all in one Well Place.
You're awesome, Kathy. Thanks for
Can't wait to
joining
hear
us
from you.
today. Thank you.
Yeah, a pleasure. And we'll look forward to hearing from you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
I like her enthusiasm.
Yep, she's great.
Very cool. I wanted to get into talking about, maybe we'll have her on again I want to know more about her experience as a 20-year dental hygienist. That is a long time in practice. She must, for her to know what she knows as a dental hygienist for so many years, that would really be fun to talk about. So very good.
Indeed.
Hey, I have an interview here with Jeff Gray, Dr. Jeff Gray. I'll introduce him in the video. I really wanted him to come on live, but like most of Crown Council doctors, we don't expect many to be watching live. I mean, it's Thursday, they're working. So this is a recorded interview I did with Jeff last week from his home in San Diego. Is that the right screen, Spence? Can you see it?
Yep.
I'm going to share this video. As you can see here, this was recorded for almost 50 minutes. So we might not get through the whole thing. I'll play some parts, and then it's posted to the Crown Council website. So we'll get as far as we can, and then you can watch the rest on your own. So I'll push play. Give me a thumbs up if it's working. All right. Welcome to the show. I'm Stuart Anderson. Welcome, Dr. Jeff Gray. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. You're coming to us from your beautiful home. I know we're talking about some car troubles you've had this morning, but man, you live in a beautiful part of the world. Can't complain, can you?
Oh, it's good. It's San Diego's always hard to complain about, even though we still do. We realize what the rest of the United States goes through.
I love it. If you don't know Dr. Gray, obviously that's why he's on. We're so grateful to have him here to tell a bit of his story and his journey through dentistry and with Smiles for Life. I've known Dr. Gray probably longer than any other Crown Council doctor in the group. And I just adore Jeff, and I'm thankful for his example and leadership, not only to me, but to all the members of the Crown Council. Jeff, there's so many, you sent over your bio, and I don't even know where to start. Really fun though. Dr. Gray has been a dentist for over 35 years. And obviously from that experience, we are going to talk about some of the things that he has excelled in. Most importantly, Smiles for Life and the creation of Smiles for Life, how that was started when it came to Smiles for Life whitening. But also just a few things I wanted to mention. Last year voted best cosmetic dentist in San Diego Magazine. And also, Jeff, you're a Kois Center graduate and one of the elite Kois Center clinical instructors. It says here that he flies to Seattle several times a year to help train other dentists in advanced cosmetic treatments. Dr. Gray, a true pioneer in his field and among the very first in the country to use sedation dentistry, and has successfully and comfortably treated thousands of patients using sedation dentistry techniques. Dr. Gray, hopefully everybody follows your social media too. If he's not in the office, at Petco Park cheering on the Padres with his wife, Mary. And if you're watching some of his posts, I love to see you racing cars, man. So fun.
It's a beautiful life, Stu. It's a wonderful thing.
Very cool. Jeff, when you think back to your first memories of Crown Council and getting involved here with us, maybe you could start there. Like, how did you connect with us?
Well, I mean, I started going, Stuart, to I had like a couple things I'd love to learn. I was in a mastermind group, and so I was thinking of two things, like, should I go to learn Pete Dawson or should I go to dental boot camp? And I went to one, like a half-day lecture with Dawson, and he was talking about, dental boot camp and everything. And when I went to boot camp, which was, Steve Anderson and Walter Haley and Mac Lee and Jolene, at first, that just totally revolutionized my life. It just gave me an entirely new perspective of, how to think about the way I interacted with other human beings, the way we interacted with our patients, how just to really focus on creating the life and the journey you hope for your practice, even if you weren't there at that minute. So I think from 94, the impetus of the Crown Council itself kind of came out of that, because Walter wanted to have a big gathering of people, which you guys have done so amazingly. And what are we on, like 24, 5, 7, 8, something like that?
Yep. 28. Yeah.
28. Okay. Yeah. So just that, the power of a group of people that are focused in a similar direction and all, that can love and support each other and, lift us up in hard times, and then, celebrate you in good times is really the key to, the whole Crown Council group, and to be able to be a group, that's focused on basically three things, is like improving yourself, improving your practice, and improving your community. I mean, who wouldn't want to be part of a group like that?
I love that. I gotta write those down. Very good. Improve myself, improve your practice, improve your community. Nice, Jeff. Hey, maybe talk about for just a minute how your background, for what inspired you to become a dentist, and what led you here to dentistry in general.
Yeah, I was laughing last night because as a joke, I usually say it's the little elf on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer that,
Yeah.
helped the abominable snowman feel better.
That
watched that as a kid.
guy's the worst.
But actually I think it was kind of luck, Stuart, because I love baseball. I still play baseball. And as a kid, my baseball coach was an orthodontist. And so Dr. Sullivan, we became friends with their family, and just like a super wonderful man, well respected in the community. And so I was very blessed to know by the time I was in high school that I thought I wanted to be a dentist.
Cool.
So my journey was probably a little easier than most, because I knew when I got to college, I would, want to kick butt and, have to focus and get, things accomplished. So that made it really easy for me, because I had a direction, I had goals. I've always been pretty good at delayed gratification, knowing that if I put in enough work, the end result would appear. So that was fantastic. But I have to be honest and say I was totally blissfully unaware of what a cool thing it would become. I had no honestly idea what a dentist would do, or, I just thought it sounded cool. And thankfully it has turned out amazing for me, because every day we truly feel, especially with the type of cool things that we get to do, that we have the chance to touch someone's life or touch someone's heart in a way. And we may not even have to touch their teeth to do that, because it's, we're really in the human business, and the way we take care of humans just happens to be by taking care of their teeth. And also, we love to support our patients and, feel like we're part of their lives. We love it when people say, I feel like when I come here, it feels like I'm coming to see my friends or my family.
Very cool, Jeff. I when I look back at the wise words I've watched you share, whether on the email network or at annual events, I wonder, when you look back, where do you do you have mentors or influences that have really shaped your career, and maybe talk about that for a minute, the power of mentors and examples in your life?
Oh yeah. I mean, I had read Think and Grow Rich before I even knew about boot camp or what was going on. So we had our mastermind group that was fantastic. And so just being around other people that wanted to be better, it was mainly focused on business and personal side at that point. And I was thinking, like, who have been really the most powerful mentors in my life for my career? And I think probably one of the first was Dr. Cliff Ruddle. He's an endodontist in Santa Barbara, because they teach you kind of how to do endo in school. And, back when I went to school, it was all still hand files and, everything. Now we've got some cool new systems, but I actually, I'll admit, I totally screwed up a tooth. So I had to take it out and give the lady a bridge. And, at that time we didn't really have implants in the late 80s. We did, but, it would have cost a lot of money, and I didn't understand them at that time. So I go, gosh, I can't be doing this. So my friend Bill Boyer and I, another lifetime Crown Council member, went up and met Cliff Ruddle, who, besides being one of the most gifted, clinicians and teachers, was also one of the most beautiful human beings that we had met. And to us, that was a profound influence in my career. And then I met, Walter and Steve, Ray Bertolotti, another Crown Council person, and then like Bill Dickerson, David Hornbrook at the what was Las Vegas Institute at that time when Bill and David were together, just incredible. And then about the same time, I met John Coyce up in Seattle, and I would have to say, of all those people, John and probably Cliff have been the most influential, both in their teaching the clinical skills and being able to share those gifts with our patients that they teach us. It has been amazing. I mean, John is incredible. He's one of the most talented, knowledgeable people you'd ever want to meet. And if anybody wants to start an incredible journey of clinical training, I would say the Coyce Center would have to be near the top of your list, because it's amazing. And I'm sure I left someone out there. Who did I leave out? I think that's a pretty good. Oh, and then for dental implants, like my friend Norm Ickert, we went up, he had a hands-on training in Canada that he no longer does, but to really, I love the hands-on training. And so when you went to Las Vegas Institute, you got to take a patient, kind of like David does with the Young Dentist now, which is just a fantastic program for you to be able to see how a true master, does those kind of things.
Very cool. Jeff, as I read some of your history on the website, maybe you could just talk for a minute about the history of your business. So where you started and where it's led you now, and then we'll kind of transition into some of the lessons you learned from running your businesses. But can you start? Okay. So dental school, and then kind of what happened?
Yeah, I graduated from UCSF, University of California, San Francisco in '86. And I had an instructor who actually liked me and thought I was a good person. So he said, "Hey, Jeff, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you want to go?" And I had done my undergrad at San Diego State, and San Diego is just an amazing area. And so I was racing motorcycles at the time, and there's beaches and deserts. So I go, I would love to go to San Diego. He goes, "Really?" He goes, "I have a friend there that usually hires young dentists out of school. You should go down and meet him." So I was like, "Okay, that sounds great." So I came down and met Dr. Mora, and they said, "You're going to get $185 a day." And I thought the world had ended. I was like, I could probably retire in like 2-3 years, right? So I went and worked, and we got there. And the funniest thing was, in dental school, anybody who has this memory, in dental school, you saw like one patient in the morning and one in the afternoon. And if you were like a really super stud senior, you could see 2 people in the afternoon. And, for the 4 hours of clinical time, and, you would get 2 occlusal amalgams done in that, you were a rock star in that time period. So I got there and I saw the list that had like, I saw the schedule had like 30 names on it. And I'm thinking, man, this place is dang organized. I got my whole month right up here already for me. And that was, like kind of just like the first day. So then Mary and I, we got married in '87, and then we started looking around to have our own practice. So in '88, we bought a practice from a man who was retiring. And it just turned in, we had no idea what we were doing, honestly. I mean, we had some sense of knowledge, but not, a ton. And they were doing, I want to say about $110,000 a year, which, at that point, you're you know, when you just come out of school, you think that's a ton. Now it's like, oh my gosh, you know, and I was so excited because we bought the practice in May, and between May and January, we did 116,000. So I was like, I'm crushing it here. And then I asked Mary, I go, honey, you know, how much money did we make? She goes, well, you know, you did really good. I'm really proud of you, but we spent 117,000. And in my first 7 months of practice, I lost $1,000. But you know, we had to do like a bunch of remodeling and things. And then from there, just because, you know, I love people and I tend to get along well with people, we started getting more and more patients, and then the practice just would grow. We were at this point, people will laugh, listen to it now, but this was at the very first point of being able to use like an intraoral camera to show people like what was going on in their mouth. Because, you know, a dentist's fear, and, you know, Walter and Steve always talk about it, is like, you don't want to be the bearer of bad news. Like, you don't want to get shot as the messenger. So when you can show someone a video of what's going on and then use the techniques of the overhear psychology and things that, you know, we talk about at boot camp and TOPS now, which I would highly recommend to anybody that hasn't been, you know, that would be, you know, something that for us, then I didn't have to feel guilty about telling people, and it was easy for it to see in front. And then, you know, we started getting busier and busier, which was, you know, a blessing and a curse at the same time, because, you know, then you can't see everybody. And Mary and I found an ad the other day, one of the first ads we put out, and it said we were open from 8 to 8. And I just started laughing. I go, what on earth was I thinking? So, you know, then we realized we could compress the schedule, be there less. And, you know, I was trying to be everybody's dentist, which is one of my tips for folks, is you have to learn at some point that that's just not possible. You know, you want to be able to find a niche to be able to serve, and then get really good in that one niche, find something that differentiates you from other practices. And that, you know, for me, that was huge. And then we had one of my friends from school, Kenny, came and joined us. So I would work like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, half a day Thursday, and he would work Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we were able to really grow the practice to a wonderful size. And, you know, we were together for 13 years ago. And then unfortunately, we, you know, had some challenges and ended up getting a practice divorce. And, you know, the beauty of the Crown Council is that sometimes as a dentist, you think you're the only one that bad crap happens to, you know, and like the hygienist is upset, or a patient sues you, or, you know, you had a case that didn't come out well, and you think I must be the only bad dentist, you know, in the world, when in reality, you know, the instructors in school pretty much like lied to us and said that everything they ever did was perfect, and they, you know, nobody ever got mad at them, and, you know, nobody ever didn't get numb, and, you know, all the normal stuff that just drives you crazy and makes you feel less than, and makes you feel like you don't deserve, you know, to be practicing. So all, you know, those type of things. So anyway, we ended up at a point in our lives where we were totally, you know, kind of debt free and things. And then we realized that, shoot, I was about to say the other word. We're going to have to like open up a brand new practice, because Kenny at that point wasn't able to move because he didn't have the financial resources. And I thought, well, I'll just stay here. Kenny can move. I built this practice. We did it. But anyway, so for a couple years, I was very, you know, very mad, very angry, until I realized I kind of did a BOTSOM, which was you know, switched my base of thought and state of mind to realize that after 20 years in practice, I was given the gift to totally like reinvent myself. And so the practice we built was built with 20 years, or designed was built with 20 years of knowing the type of patient exactly that we wanted to attract. So we made it look purposely not like a dental office, more like a hotel, not like an elite Ritz-Carlton hotel, but like a nice hotel that was warm, and we used special colors that were peaceful and calm, because our niche, we decided, was going to be sedation. Because it sounds really sexy to say you're a cosmetic dentist, but that niche in San Diego was already taken at that time by like Hornbrook and Adelson and a bunch of other people that were already here, but sedation was wide open. And another thing with sedation is you aren't really like getting other people's patients, you're getting patients that just don't go. So I really started using, at first it was the Yellow Pages, which cracks me up now, but that was like your best referral source, was the Yellow Pages. And then, we had a lot of publicity. We did some charity, work in the community, which has kind of always been a theme for us. We would get a lot of newspaper coverage, radio coverage. The TV channels would come and watch us do things in the office if we had something new or innovative. And then we built the new practice, and we spent months trying to figure out the name, like what should we name this? You want some fancy, the Center for, Enlightened Dentistry, or, something like that. And finally, we just decided, well, why don't we just call it Jeff Gray, DDS, sedation and cosmetic dentistry. And so we got a giant neon sign out there that said that. And it has been, just wonderful since. We've been very fortunate to continue to grow. And now we, have had a couple great partners, like Landon Libby used to work there with us. And, he's a big part of the Crown Council and a fantastic human being. And now Greg Hurtado, who's also, part of the Crown Council, and, just an amazing human being, and just the warmest, kindest soul you'd ever want to be around. So very fortunate there. And, we've just continued to grow and grow. And it still is amazing to me that with the process and the setup that we have in the office, where we always meet the people before we meet the teeth, that is such a huge difference in our practice. Like, it would be incredibly rare in our office to meet someone for the first time laying back in a hygiene chair. That just doesn't happen, unless they're like a teenager. We want to set ourselves apart as being different. So we have a whole, like, a greeting consultation room where we just sit down and just talk about what are they hoping for. A lot of the patients that come and see us are like crying uncontrollably because they're so scared. We have tissues. Probably 60% of our new patients come for sedation. And so we're doing 3-4 sedations a day. It's just like something we do every day. And I know I have a lot of gray hair now, but I would have a lot more if we didn't have sedation. So, and that's kind of the story of our journey. We've, never been afraid to, kind of push the boundaries as far as trying to make the community be aware of us, whether it's through radio advertising or, marketing and things. I mean, Mary was laughing last night because she asked me, do you remember when you said, what in the heck would a dental office ever need a website for? Obviously, I was wrong. And so, now the website and, using your Uncle Lane with Prospecta Marketing to do that. In fact, Lane gave us an award at one of the meetings where his company, Prospecta Marketing, had generated for us over, I think, 11 or 12 years, $10 million worth of business into our office, directly traced to the SEO and website marketing, which is amazing to me and beautiful.
I think that should be a title of a new webinar or some sort of presentation. What the heck will a dental office need a website for?
You know,
I
now
love
we do the social media, which we honestly don't do very well, but you know, we are working with that, and you know, it's I think it just you just have to be willing to, like someone told me, like it you could be the greatest dentist in the world, but if nobody knows about it, it does you no good.
Hmm. Hmm. Good.
So, you know, it's either your own patients sharing their experiences with now it's the, you know, the Google reviews, the Yelp reviews, you know, your Instagram or, you know, whatever else, TikTok or whatever people are doing that, you know, next year will be something different.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think if you just focus on taking great care of the person attached to the teeth, you will thrive.
I love that advice. Very good. Jeff, so fun to hear about your journey. You've been on so many and learned so much over the years. Is there anything else, any other lessons that you want to share about running your business or the like growth of practice before we move to Smiles for Life?
Yeah, I would think the couple key things that I wanted to talk about, and it sounds funny, but at first we would see anybody anytime.
Hmm.
And I think it's critical if you want to have a productive practice that you need to do some type of block scheduling. You know, using like the Roxanne water. We always put our productive appointments in the morning, and we treat those like gold. So you
Hmm.
can't put a single filling, occlusal filling in the morning. You know, that would have to be an afternoon. Um, I there's a lot of things I wrote down. One of the things that has nothing to do with dentistry is to be sure that you live below your means.
Hmm.
Because if you come out of school and you think, hey, I'm a hotshot dentist, I need a new BMW and I need to live in a fancy neighborhood, and you know, we need to go on these awesome vacations because I look at social media and I see that all my other friends are at these fancy places. You know, to me, debt is like a backpack filled with rocks that you have to carry around every day.
Hmm.
And if you're, you know, even though subconsciously you're not trying to put that out, if the patients can feel it, if you're deep, if you need the patient to say yes,
Hmm.
you know, to be able to pay your rent or to be able to pay your boat payment or your house payment, they'll feel that.
Hmm.
It's almost like the less you need the patient to say yes, the more they do
Hmm.
to the treatment. Because, and subconsciously, it's just a lot of stress and strain. And, you know, we had debt when we were younger, and we would set a plan like, okay, what, you know, is the highest interest rate? Let's pay that one off first. Let's start putting a couple $100 more towards the house and make it a 15-year loan instead of a 30-year loan. You know, being out of debt or living below your means, you know, is very nice because you never know like what's going to happen if the economy goes, you know, slower for a bit and your practice goes down. Are you still going to be able to, you know, pay the bills? And then what else did I have? So it's harder to be everybody's dentist. And probably the two most important things I would say would be, at least I think they're important, would be the best investment you can make is in yourself.
Hmm.
Because everybody thinks like I need some new machine, I need some new toy at the office. If you just make yourself a better person, either you know, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and also clinically, that pays the biggest dividend the fastest for any practice, at least in my opinion. And also, I think that one of the key things that for me is you can't be a dentist just because you think you're going to make good money.
Hmm.
That is a byproduct of what you do. I think for us, we have this thing. Oh my God, I can't think of it, what it says now. Oh, it says what we are about. And basically it talks about like people don't want veneers. They want to be able to go to their high school reunion and smile. They want to be
Right.
able to feel confident. You know, people don't want implants and crowns. They want to be able to go out to a restaurant with their friends without embarrassment.
Right.
You know, people don't want gum therapies or scaling and root planing. You know, they want to live longer and not have, you know, bad breath. Like we had a lady that was so scared, Stuart, she came to us solely because her granddaughter said, "Oh, you have stinky grandma breath. I don't want to kiss you
Oh
anymore."
my gosh. Yeah.
And so for her, that was like an arrow in her heart. And
Yeah.
so I think if you can totally get yourself and your team to believe that what we're doing is more than touching their teeth, it's we have the chance to change people's lives on a daily basis. And, you know, maybe we get to do that more because of the sedation or things, people that have lost hope of ever, you know, being pain free or being able to you know, eat or chew, or you know, when you get a letter from someone that says, you know, I'm 64, I think Margaret was 65 years old, for the first time in my life I feel beautiful.
Hmm.
And you're just like, holy cow, you
Hmm.
know, this is awesome.
Very
So
cool.
I would think those, you know, couple things. And then also, I think I mentioned it before, is to kind of find a niche that you love and, you know, take the TOPS training and things so that you can learn how to talk like a human being and not like a dentist.
Hmm.
So if you can talk to people using the analogies like the M&M, like, hey, your tooth's like an M&M, it's got a hard shell on the outside, soft layer in the middle. You can see where, you know, you're into the chocolate layer on this tooth. And they're like, oh, that can't be good. You know, or like your teeth are in the bone, like a fence post in the ground. The more dirt you have around the, you know, the fence post, the better.
Hmm.
So just simple things that you can say to people, you know, that help them understand what you're talking about, because we have to know that we're not trying to impress our dental school instructors anymore. We're just trying to share, you know, in a way that's understandable to the patient, what, you know, we see and how we can help them.
Very cool. I'm gonna stop it there, Chip.
Yeah,
Hey, what a
I
great,
think
what
that's a good
yeah,
point.
good spot. So he's got about 15 more minutes where we talk about the history of Smiles for Life. Dr. Gray was the mastermind behind inventing the Smiles for Life whitening campaign, which is such a fun story. So I'm going to post this full interview to the Crown Council premium website, and you can watch it and learn from Dr. Gray. What about that phrase? To learn to talk like a human and not a dentist.
I know. So
Anything,
good. What a
anything,
great
el-
guy.
anything else you loved about that?
Man, it's been a pleasure getting to know him. And when you hear him just be able to sit down and share um, so much wisdom, I think one of the just to echo um, his experience in getting to know so many people within the Crown Council. I mean, he is a walking example of who we get to know while working or being a part of the Crown Council. And he's not even, you know, he's not thinking that, he's pondering about all that have impacted his life
Yeah.
and now how many he's impacting here.
Yeah. One of the best. So thankful for him and his influence. Fun to share that with the community. So very good, Chip. Hey, next week we're going to do a live webinar at this exact same time. CE will be available. How to Thrive in a Down Economy from Steve Anderson. So you have to register for it. We did this last month. If you want to join next week, there's a link where you have to register to receive the link to join the webinar. So it won't be broadcast live from this platform. You're going to have to join it from another platform. So a lot of opportunities to sign up for that this coming week. So watch for those emails and notifications. But yeah, we'll be back next week, same time. All right, man. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, everybody. We'll see you next week.